Welcome back to the third episode of This Is Why I Drink. I'm back here again with Shah and CJ, and we're going to continue on the topic that we started off in episode number 2 and just keep diving into racism and talk about the actual definition and what it's been twisted into and why it has no place in our society right now with the way that people keep trying to push it. So guys, welcome back. Appreciate you being here again.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Shah, you're all paused.
Yo.
Yo. What the hell? Oh my God, that's great. God, if your beard wasn't so nice. All right. Anyway, so we ended at the last time. It genuinely, I don't like necessarily saying the phrase. Shah, you still stuck on that one, aren't you? The hell, bro.
To be honest with you,
yeah,
I'm still stuck on
the beard thing.
Am I gonna say?
Oh yeah, am I gonna say it? No, we're talking
Oh
about?
yeah. Okay, sorry, folks. We've got a lot of good inside jokes running right now, so you might get to hear them, you might not. Anyway, we ended on a really, really solid note last time, agreeing that everything ultimately boils down to taking accountability for yourself, acting with humility, being self-aware of where your shortcomings are and what you really need to work on individually to ultimately help us find a middle ground amongst everybody, no matter what ethnicity you are. Okay. Now, if you notice, I don't say the word race very often. Mm-hmm. Okay. And my reasoning is, I know that the definition of the word race, because I printed them out, so I make sure I got this stuff right here so people can't sit there and tell me, nope, he's wrong, is it says, each of the major divisions of humankind having distinct physical characteristics, the fact or condition of belonging to a racial division or group, the qualities or characteristics associated with this. And the third is a group of people sharing the same culture, history, language, etc., and ethnic group. The reason I don't say race very often is because my mentality is there's only one race on this planet, and that is the human race. Okay. And the reason that I've constantly approached it from that perspective is because of the fact that as soon as I start saying, Shaw, you're a different race, CJ, you're 50-50.
Yeah.
All right. then that automatically mentally creates division. Mm-hmm. I don't want that. If there's division created, that division should be created on this person is doing things detrimental to the outcome that is going to be good for the whole in the long run. I'm not talking in the short term, because we've all done stupid shit in the past where it's been like, okay, well, if I do this right now, I know I'm going to get this benefit. Okay. Mm-hmm. Not enough people, and I've been guilty of it just as much as anybody else, play the long game in life. And I would like to believe that we're at a point where you have to start playing the long game again. Okay. Because we're such a microwave society that we're chaotic as hell for no reason a lot of times. And I believe that we're going to have to start playing the long game again to actually get back on track. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Versus the mentality of, well, yeah, but I want this right now. Well, I want this right now. Okay, cool. That's great. Well, yeah, try to get it right now. You're probably going to fail. So have some patience. Mm-hmm. And when I say patience, that doesn't mean laziness. A lot of people look at, patience is, so I just need to be still and be patient. I'm like, no, that doesn't mean sit on your ass and do nothing.
Yeah.
That means just not freak out when it doesn't happen right now. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense.
Okay. So diving in to the actual definition of racism versus what a lot of people have tried to twist it into and make it out to be. And the reason I say a lot of people is because both on the right and the left, they're pushing the definition of it, situations that are racist so on and so forth. And even like there's an organization called Turning Point USA, which I follow. They're a conservative political activist group. And there are some things that I really like and some things I don't like. Okay. There's a guy named Charlie Kirk who he was addressing a group at an assembly, and he even went so far as to say, do you know what the definition of racism is? Blah, blah, blah. And he read from his notes, discrimination based on skin color, boom, boom, boom. Okay. And it floored me a little bit because of the fact that I would like to believe this guy's educated. Okay. I have respect for what he does. And everybody makes mistakes. I'm going to make quite a few on this podcast. I'm probably going to have people look at me like a complete moron at times. Everybody that talks about racism talks about skin color being part of the definition, part of what it is, so on and so forth, where the actual definition is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior, characteristics common and specific to ethnic groups deemed inferior or superior. Now, in that actual dictionary definition, at any point did I say skin color?
No.
No. I said characteristics specific to ethnic groups deemed inferior or superior by another, and the belief that one's own race is superior. So nothing in there says skin color at all. Okay. Now, do you guys see part of the reason that I say there's only one race, the human race? And I talk about different nationalities, ethnic groups, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in any way, shape, form, or fashion that I'm better than either of you. And to think that you're superior to another human being doesn't make any sense to me from the fundamental understanding of that is also another human being. Now, you may be better at a specific task. You may be superior at a specific task, and that's perfectly fine. That doesn't make you a better human being. And that's what I'm getting at over and over and over again. So when we get back to what a lot of people try to make racism sound like, why did we focus on skin color?
So you're saying why do we focus on skin color as far as?
I want to hear, before I chime in on all this, I want to hear why you think we focus on skin color.
I think we focus, well, for one, because people don't know the actual definition.
Boom.
So, right. So, but on top of that, it just goes, it's just got people who don't understand the definition. And as far as, I think a lot of times we let history play a role on, we just let it dictate our mindset and the way we think and the way we attack certain situations. Because going off everything that you're saying, I agree with, and it's just like race started like in, like, I think they first started, because at first, like you said, it was the nations and ethnicity, and then it started off probably, I can't remember the exact dates, but it's probably 1700 something like that. They started doing research on just, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess organizing different characteristics and putting it as a certain race. So it's just like race, like you said, doesn't really even exist to me. And I hate saying African American just because like not all black people came from Africa.
Fact.
So it's just like, and that's the only box that I can check, African American or other. So I just check other because it's just like, I don't consider myself African American, and yeah, but that's a whole different topic. So, but I just think people do the whole skin color thing because they don't understand the actual definition.
True, Shah.
And it's easy.
Boom. Come on. All right, there you go. It's easy. Okay. It is the easiest thing to identify immediately and say, okay, they're different. Now, here's the funny part. Take emotion out of what I'm about to say as much as you possibly can and just hear the words. Okay. Shah, you're darker than me. CJ, you're darker than me. That's pretty fucking obvious too. I automatically don't like you, and I'm going to treat you like crap purely because your skin color is different than mine. What's the very first word that goes through your brain?
Racist.
Okay, racist. Think of another word besides the R word. What's another word when I say I'm going to treat you like crap just because of the fact that you're darker than me, and I don't like that?
Ignorant.
Okay. Back in the day, yes, absolutely, I would have agreed with ignorant. With all of the avenues we have now to learn things, I don't believe ignorance is something that can be an excuse after a certain age in today's society. Okay.
I think it's just school, man. Like the definition of racism should be taught in school, I think.
I agree.
And you're the first person who's told me the actual definition of racism.
Exactly. I don't believe it's ignorance in 2019 and moving forward again, because we have way too many ways to be able to actually look up information, i.e. the internet.
Laziness.
Exactly. Okay. So once you get back to the word ignorance, it doesn't exist after a certain age. Then it's willful ignorance, i.e. laziness and stupidity, to sit there and stay within that little pigeonholed mindset. Okay. What I was getting at when I've put this out there and had conversations with other people about the definition of racism before, because it is a hot topic and I don't believe it needs to be unless we're discussing how to stop it. Okay. Which I believe is very, very simple. It's just going to take time. When I've talked to people before about the actual true dictionary definition of the word racism, and I ask them, what's the very first thing you think of when I say I'm going to treat you poorly because you're a different color than me? One guy, the best response that I got was, fuck you. And I was like, that's perfect. That's perfect. And the reason it was perfect is because to say that you can remove all emotion from your response to that is very difficult, because as human beings, we try to rationalize these things. We try to make sense of it all. So when somebody says, I'm going to treat you poorly based on this alone without any knowledge of you whatsoever, which is prejudice, because the definition of prejudice is preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience, i.e. fear of the unknown. So when you say that, it's very difficult to rationalize it, because we want to make 2 + 2 = 4. We want to try to figure out why it makes sense. And when things don't functionally make sense on a common sense level, we get frustrated, then we get pissed, then we start movements. Mm-hmm. Think about it.
Yeah.
And whoever started putting skin color as the primary component of racism, I'm going to say something that's probably going to make some of you guys scratch your head out there if you're listening to this. Some of you are probably going to get pissed off. I know these guys are probably going to give me a WTF look. They were brilliant at doing it because it is the easiest thing to galvanize anger around, because it's stupid. And it's ultimately ridiculous to say, I am going to treat you poorly because of this when I know absolutely nothing about you. Okay? It is completely moronic. And at the same time, if you look at how it's evolved over the years, instead of both sides doing things to combat it, i.e., like the white guy saying to CJ, who's half black, half Mexican, and to Shah, whose heritage is Pakistani, that I'm going to get to know you before I form any opinion of you as a human being. White people have to do that, okay? And anybody of another color, okay, has to sit there and say, I know that this stereotype and stigma exists around me and my people, so I'm going to humble myself to not rise up in pride or frustration if this person does not give me the benefit of the doubt. It's both sides. What we were talking about last time with the cops, both sides have to play their role. Mm-hmm. And you're either going to play your role poorly and shit's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Or you're going to play it well and both sides are going to come out like when you just got a warning for speeding.
Mm-hmm.
CJ.
Yeah.
That's it. It's got to be both sides. the quote unquote minority side saying, I'm not going to operate within the stigma and stereotype, and I'm not going to get pissed off and prideful. And the quote unquote white privilege side saying, I'm not going to sit there and treat them like the stereotype. Okay. Because I want to show them respect as a human being. It's both sides. The problem is in our society, we have so many people that say, this only happens, you don't understand what it's like to be black. Well, I'm like, well, you don't understand what it's like to not be able to stay out in the sun for more than 20 minutes at a time.
I think that's the biggest problem.
So,
but I think exactly what you just said, that's the biggest problem. Because I'm just going to use black and white. Black person saying, you don't understand how it's this. White person saying, well, you don't understand this.
Yeah.
Help me understand,
Yeah.
What is it like being Shah? What is it like being Jeremy? What is it like being CJ? And then we get that common ground, that gray area that we look for. But yeah, I think that's.
But the problem is we don't ask
questions.
And what you just said, like, help me understand.
Oh yeah, true.
People have egos, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like that, but it just comes with maturity and just meeting the right people. And a lot of people don't have the resources. I just feel like I was blessed enough to meet the right people to help me understand. And that's why, the past year I've changed my perspective on a lot of things. So I think that's just the main difference in the change that we want, help me understand.
Exactly. And when you say that people don't have the resources, that is the only thing I would disagree with. Like when you say ignorance,
I want to say what you want to see.
Because when people say, well, we don't have the resources, we have government subsidized cell phone plans with free data. If you live within a school district, a lot of school districts will give you really good quality speed internet for $10 a month if you have kids that go to that school. And if, God forbid, those two aren't an option, you can go to a library, get a free library card, and they give you 3 free hours of internet access per day. So instead of using that time trolling freaking YouTube, educate yourself. Again, that's where it comes down to self-awareness and accountability.
Yeah, you're right.
To grow. Because one of my favorite people I follow on social media, everybody calls him Gary Vaynerchuk. He talks about how unless you're going into something extremely specialized in school, most school doesn't teach you jack shit anymore out there when it comes to higher education. Now, the fundamentals we still need, okay, because you got to process, you got to learn. And then once it comes down to understanding deductive approaches to learning and how to seek things out, at that point, it goes back to the laziness that you were talking about, Shah, was if the person isn't willing to look at the bigger picture, if they're not willing to seek things out, that's where a lot more of it comes down to. Because, like, again, I've joked with you guys about this before. If you're darker than me, what am I going to be pissed off about? Yeah, you tan better than I do. Good job. Okay. Yeah, great. All right, what am I going to be mad about? You win more games of hide and seek? I told you I was going to say it. You win more games. Seriously, you win more games of hide and seek than I do. I'm pale as shit. Let's go up to the mountains in the snow. Like I said, you're not going to beat a fucking White Walker in the snow. All right. So it's fundamentally ridiculous. Completely and utterly ridiculous. And to say that skin color is the biggest thing, well, no, conduct. Okay. If somebody sits there and says, I am going to harm the human race, to me, that's racism. Okay. I've joked about if I could ever find a way to change the definition of race, if I ever had the leeway and the leverage and the power to change the definition of race, I would want to change it to individuals or groups that maliciously seek to harm humanity. Because if we are truly, as so many propaganda bullshit mantras out there say that are only after the cash, which I'll get to here in a second, say, we are all one, we are one world, we are one this, we are one that. If they are true about that and they are legitimate about that, okay, then somebody who is actively trying to harm humanity from a malicious intent, that is a racist.
No, that definition makes it seem, which is I would assume that's what you're going for. It makes it seem as everybody is as one.
Yes.
And this definition has more of a division towards it when
Fact.
it says that bottom line of the one superior to the other.
Exactly.
Whereas the humanity thing it makes you feel. It made me feel better.
Yeah.
Of that definition. So that's crazy. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If at some point some person out there decides that a Pakistani, a half black, half Mexican guy, and a freaking bald ginger might be onto something here, then that's the direction I believe we need to move in, wholeheartedly and completely. Because otherwise, think about it. And we're almost out of time on this specific episode, and we'll get back to it on the next one, where I'm going to leave it with this right now. Think about it. Why does racism exist with the current way that we explain it in today's world? Why?
Why does it exist?
Yes. I'm going to say something that's probably going to make a lot of people go, "Oh, I hate that." And it's true though.
I don't know. Go ahead. Unless you
go ahead.
What would you say?
Racism sells. I don't care what anybody says. Division and fear make money.
Yeah, I think also, just to go based off what you said, it also gets people like me, you, and Shah. Like I feel like me, I got a whole different thought process on this stuff. But the government has its agenda, right?
Yeah,
and I feel like there's a certain amount of people that's higher than even the government, I would think, doesn't want this stuff to happen.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all good. We're
I'm
going to talk about
guys.
UFOs here shortly.
But I feel like they don't want this stuff to happen, right?
Yeah.
And when you make it towards social media and you put all this stuff out, it's gonna divide us regardless, and that's gonna be the main topic as opposed to unity and the definition that you put.
Bingo. It sells. Call me an asshole all you want. It sells. So, I mean, seriously, you sit there and say, as we were talking about a little bit when it comes to politics, if a candidate comes out and says, "I am wholeheartedly against racism. I am focused on ending it. I'm going to help the downtrodden. I'm going to make sure I help, say, black people specifically." Okay. That candidate automatically has a major following that is completely unearned off of one statement. Okay. Floods of cash come in for that candidate from corporations. Those corporations then in turn say, "We support this person." Well, who the hell do you think the people that are drinking the Kool-Aid on racism are going to buy from? The same corporations that are supporting this candidate who made this statement.
Yeah.
Now, you can call me stupid. You can call me an a-hole. You call me whatever you want. It's funny. I said asshole like 3 times and I just said a-hole. Oh. Anyway, I muted it for you, Shah. Now, you can call me stupid for it. It's true. It sells. And anybody that thinks it's not big business doesn't see the forest for the trees. It's big business. And there's no reason for it to be that, other than division and fear make money. Because the last thing I'm going to say, okay, think about this and then we can come back and I want to get both of your takes on it. All right. Nipsey Hussle, God rest his soul, was gunned down not too long ago. Okay. Other than Nipsey Hussle and Chance the Rapper, in all the research I've done recently, I have not found any other artists that were really doing anything truly positive to bring unity, okay, in, say, the rap game. So if we were able to build something that takes down the current guise and mantra of racism and start actually focusing on improving ourselves first so that then we can improve others around us. Say the ghetto stops being the ghetto, CJ. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll throw this one out at you. Say the ghetto gets cleaned up. The ghetto stops being the ghetto. What the hell is Hollywood going to make movies about? And what are rappers going to rap about?
Yeah, stuff that's not going to sell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if the streets aren't the streets, and you can't be hard because you're from the streets. And you even told me this, remember?
Right.
When you said some artists specifically get signed because that's where they're from and they can identify with it.
Yeah.
If the streets get cleaned up and they stop being the streets and the ghetto stops being the ghetto, what the fuck are we going to rap about? Going to Whole Foods and Starbucks? Seriously, what are we going to rap about? Taking our kids to a like jumping gym or some shit?
And what's crazy is the industry doesn't want to sign somebody like that, and the people don't want to listen. It's the people too, because the people don't want to listen. I don't listen about somebody going to Starbucks.
Yeah, they drink the Kool-Aid because it doesn't sound cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to leave it right there. We're going to come back to it. Okay. Think about it though. Seriously, think about it. If those things stop being what they currently are, you take down the primary way of making money for at least one major industry. Now, some people might not like that, and they might decide, hey, we want to keep it this way. We like it this way. Okay, well, that's your choice. Well, everybody else who actually wants to improve and move forward, we're moving. Yeah. Sorry. You can stay there. We're good. It's funny because I can see on your guys' faces, you kind of like tense up when I say that. And I understand. Because Shah, when I've driven you downtown when you're hanging out with your buddy and you're hosting, I don't know what they are specifically saying in those songs when they're performing in that club. I have a pretty good idea. And I can guarantee it's not like, hug my brother, take him out for lunch, some shit like that, whatever. It's not that stuff. Okay? It sells, people. It makes money. And there's a lot of people that don't want it to change because it sells.
Agreed.
So guys, I appreciate you being here again. I know that you're going to come back for number 3, and I can see Shah's face right now, like, oh, he's going to come out swinging like Rocky. I can see it on his face. I can see it right now. But guys, truly, you're a pleasure to have, and like I said, I think we're on to something here. So, folks, whoever's listening out there, we appreciate you, and this is why I drink. Cheers.